Have you ever felt so trapped in a relationship that you didn't even recognize yourself anymore? Like you're drowning, gasping for air, but you can't leave because someone else is depending on you? That's been my life for the past 9 years. 9 years of trying to hold on, trying to fix something that was breaking me. And today, I'm sharing my story, not just for me, but for anyone out there who feels stuck, especially when a child is involved. This is a story of love, manipulation, heartbreak, and finding the strength to leave for the sake of my son. If you've ever been in a toxic relationship or know someone who has, I hope you'll stay with me. This might just be the push you or someone you care about needs to break free. Hi, I'm your name, and I'm a 40-year-old mom to a beautiful, curious, and energetic 3-year-old boy. He's my world, my reason for everything, and the reason I'm finally finding the courage to share this. But my journey to where I am today has been anything but easy. For years, I was in a toxic, emotionally abusive relationship with someone I thought was my soulmate. I gave everything I had to that relationship, my time, my energy, my love, and even my sense of self. And now I'm finally trying to break free. Not just for me, but for my son. This isn't just my story. It's a story for anyone who's ever felt manipulated, gaslit, or stuck in a cycle of love and pain. If you've been there, I want you to know you're not alone. And if you feel comfortable, please share your experience in the comments. Let's support each other because no one should have to go through this alone. I met Sam in 2016. I remember the exact moment like it was yesterday. I was at a friend's party, standing by the kitchen counter, sipping on a glass of wine when she walked in. She had this energy about her, confident, magnetic, like she could light up the whole room without even trying. She came over, introduced herself, and within minutes we were deep in conversation. It felt like we'd known each other forever. She was funny, charming, and so attentive. She made me feel seen in a way I hadn't felt in years. By the end of the night, I was completely smitten. We exchanged numbers, and from that moment on, it was like a whirlwind. She would text me good morning and good night every single day. She'd surprise me with little gifts, my favorite coffee, a book she thought I'd like, flowers just because. She'd tell me how amazing I was, how lucky she felt to have met me. It was intoxicating. I thought I'd found the one. But looking back now, I see it for what it was. It wasn't love. It was love bombing. She was pulling me in, making me feel like I was her entire world, only to slowly start tearing me down. The first red flag came about 1.5 years into our relationship. Her ex started showing up at her work. At first, she told me it was nothing, that her ex was just trying to cause trouble. But then the excuses started. She'd cancel plans with me last minute, saying she was too stressed. She'd get distant, then suddenly pull me back in with grand gestures and apologies. It became a cycle. One day she'd tell me, "I need you. You're the only one who understands me." The next, she'd say, "We have nothing in common. Maybe we're not meant to be together." And then, "I think I still have feelings for my ex." Over and over again. I was so desperate to hold on to the version of her I'd fallen in love with that I ignored the signs. I thought I could save her, that if I just loved her enough, she'd see how much better we were together. I even believed her when she said her ex was abusive and that she needed me to protect her. But the truth is, I was the one being manipulated. Fast forward a few years and my life took an unexpected turn. I got pregnant during a no-strings-attached situation with a friend. It wasn't planned, but when I found out, I knew I wanted to keep the baby. The father, however, made it clear he didn't want to be involved. He walked away without hesitation, and I was left to figure it all out on my own. That's when Sam stepped in. She told me she'd be there for me, that she'd help me raise the baby. At the time, I thought this was her way of showing she cared, that she was ready to step up and be the partner I'd always hoped she could be. I thought maybe this was her way of making things right. But looking back, I see now that it wasn't about love or support. It was just another way for her to control me. The pregnancy was hard, but nothing could have prepared me for the birth. It was traumatic, hours of labor, complications, and a recovery that left me feeling like a shell of myself. And then came the postpartum depression. I felt like I was drowning in a sea of emotions I couldn't control. I was exhausted, overwhelmed, and constantly questioning if I was a good enough mom. Instead of supporting me, Sam made everything worse. She'd criticize me for the smallest things: how I held the baby, how I fed him, how I dressed him. She'd tell me I was doing it all wrong, that I was a failure as a mother. And when I tried to reach out to friends or family for help, she'd find ways to isolate me. She'd say things like, "They don't understand what you're going through. You don't need them, you have me." I was too broken to fight back. I believed her when she said I couldn't do it without her. I believed her when she said I was lucky to have her. But deep down, I felt trapped. Now, my son and I share a small room in her 2-bedroom trailer. It's cramped, and it doesn't feel like home. She made it clear a long time ago that we weren't a couple anymore. But somehow, she still controls every aspect of my life. She won't let anyone else watch my son except her mom. If I even suggest asking a friend or family member for help, she shuts it down immediately. She questions my every move. Where I'm going, who I'm talking to, what I'm doing with my time. It's like I'm constantly walking on eggshells, trying not to upset her. The emotional abuse is relentless. She makes me feel like a terrible person, like I'm ungrateful for everything she's done for me. If I try to stand up for myself, she gives me the silent treatment for days. Other times, she'll explode in anger, yelling and blaming me for everything that's wrong in her life. And then there's the guilt. She'll remind me of all the times she saved me, all the sacrifices she's made, and how I'd be nothing without her. The worst part is that my son is starting to notice. He's only 3, but he's already picking up on the tension. He sees how his mom is treated, how I shrink into myself when Sam is around. And that breaks my heart more than anything. I don't want him to grow up thinking this is normal. I don't want him to think this is what love looks like. The breaking point came when I started antidepressants. For the first time in years, it felt like a fog was lifting. I could see things more clearly. I could see that I wasn't the problem, she was. But even with that clarity, leaving hasn't been easy. Every time I try to leave, she finds a way to pull me back in. She'll cry and beg, telling me I'm abandoning her, that I'm just like her ex who left her years ago. She knows exactly how to push my buttons, how to make me feel guilty enough to stay. It's like I'm stuck in this endless cycle of guilt and fear. I feel brainwashed, like I've been conditioned to believe I can't survive without her. But deep down, I know that's not true. I know I have to leave for my son. He deserves better. He deserves to see his mom treated with respect. He deserves a happy, healthy home where he can grow up feeling safe and loved. And I deserve that too. It's not going to be easy. I know that. But I'm ready to take the first step. I'm ready to fight for a better life for both of us. I've been thinking a lot about how to leave. It's not as simple as just packing a bag and walking out the door. There's so much to consider, especially with my son involved. Do I move far away and go no contact? That seems like the cleanest option, but it's also the scariest. Starting over in a new place with no support system feels overwhelming. Then there's the option of staying nearby and trying to co-parent. But I know how that would go. She'd find ways to manipulate me to keep me under her control. She'd use my son as leverage, making me feel guilty for taking him away or accusing me of being a bad mom. I've seen her do it before, and I know she wouldn't hesitate to do it again. It's hard because we live in a rural area with limited options. There aren't many resources for single moms here, and finding affordable housing feels impossible. But I know I have to figure it out. I can't let fear keep me stuck. I've started looking into shelters and support groups, trying to find a way to make this work. If you've ever been in a similar situation, I'd love to hear from you. How did you leave? How did you make it work, especially with a child involved? Did you move far away, or did you stay close? Please share your advice in the comments. I need all the help I can get right now. This isn't just about me. It's about my son. He's only 3, but he's already starting to notice things. He sees the anger, the manipulation, the way she talks to me. He doesn't understand it yet, but I know he feels it. The other day, I was crying in the kitchen after another one of her outbursts. I thought I was alone, but then I felt a little hand on my leg. It was my son. He looked up at me with these big, worried eyes and said, "Mommy, are you okay?" It broke my heart. He's too young to be worrying about me. He should be playing with his toys, laughing, and just being a kid, not trying to comfort his mom. I don't want him to grow up thinking this is normal. I don't want him to think it's okay for someone to treat you like this. I want him to see what a healthy, loving relationship looks like. I want him to know that love isn't about control or fear, it's about respect, kindness, and support. Every time I think about staying, I remind myself of him. He deserves better. He deserves a mom who's happy and strong, not one who's constantly walking on eggshells. And he deserves to grow up in a home where he feels safe and loved. I know leaving won't be easy. It's going to be one of the hardest things I've ever done. But I also know it's the right thing to do. For me and for my son. If you're in a similar situation, please know that you're not alone. I know it feels impossible right now, like there's no way out. But there is. It might take time and it might take a lot of courage, but you can do it. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be free. If this story resonated with you, please leave a comment below. Share your story, your advice, or just some words of encouragement. Let's create a space where we can support each other, because no one should have to go through this alone. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, please share this video with them. Sometimes hearing someone else's story can be the push they need to take that first step. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more stories and advice on navigating life's toughest challenges. Together, we can create a community of support and strength. Thank you for listening to my story. It wasn't easy to share, but I hope it helps someone out there. I hope it reminds you that you're not alone and that you deserve love, respect, and happiness. Remember, you're stronger than you think. You're capable of so much more than you realize. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.